Millions of readers worldwide were spellbound by Jonathan Cahn's blockbuster book, The Harbinger. Now he has a new book that he says holds the key to the rise and fall of nations, economic recession, financial collapse, and your future. It is called The Mystery of the Shemitah, and Jonathan joins us now with more on that. First off, welcome. And what is the Shemitah?
The Shemitah is a mystery that goes back 3,000 years from Moses, literally, that God gave to Israel that lies behind the rising and crashing of Wall Street, the rise of America, and what may be the fall of America. Really, it is the key in the Bible of God's timing, of God's plan. It begins in the Torah when God gives to Israel a pattern. He says, every seventh year you will have a Sabbath rest. No sowing, no reaping, just total rest. The Shemitah year, it's called the Shemitah, builds up to its conclusion at the end, near the autumn. It's called Elul 29, the final day. On that day, Elul 29, all debt is wiped out, all credit's wiped out, financial accounts wiped clean. Now, the Shemitah was supposed to be a blessing, but when Israel turned away from God, the Shemitah becomes a sign of judgment on a nation that has turned away from God, that strikes the financial realm. Now, the amazing thing is this mystery has been behind the collapsing of Wall Street for our entire lifetime. I mean, this mystery, has pinpointed literally the collapse of our economy down to the days, down to the hours, down to the seconds. And it's even, we're coming to one right now. We're coming to a new one. And it has always marked gigantic, massive change and the plans of God. I mean, it even is linked to the key behind end-time prophecy, and even marks Israel, the return of Jerusalem, it's so big. I mean, that's why I wasn't planning on doing another book for a while, but this is so big that it literally has affected every part of our life. It is going to affect our lives.
Wow. Take us back again to the history of ancient Israel. How did it play out during that time?
Yeah, well, here's what happened. They turned away from God. Now, God said, always keep this Shemitah year, this Sabbath year. They stopped doing it. And what happened was, in 586 BC, the nation was judged, and it was literally wiped away. And they were taken to Babylon, the captivity, for 70 years. Well, God said, the reason is that for all the Shemitahs you broke, now the land will rest for all the years it did not rest. So the Shemitah literally becomes something, not only wipes away accounts, it wipes away nations. It is linked behind, for this to happen, the Babylonian Empire, which did this, had to have risen, had to have fallen. So it even is behind all of world history. I mean, that's amazing. And for instance, if you look at the greatest long-term crashes in American history, the majority of them all cluster around the Shemitah, all of them. The last 40 years, you have 5 major collapses in the stock market. Every single one of them happens according to the Shemitah. In 2001, you had the greatest collapse in American history, stock market. It was caused by 9/11, actually, the anniversary. That happened on Elul 29, the exact date given in the Bible to wipe away the financial accounts of a nation in danger of judgment. On the exact day. That record lasts for 7 years. In 2008, it is broken by the Great Recession. The other greatest collapse happens in September 2008. When did that happen? On the exact same biblical day that God gave to wipe away, Elul 29, wipe away the financial accounts of a nation. In fact, if you look at just think about this. The 2 greatest collapses in American history each happened on the exact day, the same day of the Bible that's appointed, and they happened how far apart? 7 years exactly, Hebrew years down to the day, the hour, the minute, and the second. So this is what happened. It's so precise, and we are heading to another one. And it has even affected the rise of America. If you look at the key Shemitahs in the century, one of them is 1917. That's the year America begins its rise in World War I, shifts world history. You go in the future, you get to 1945, another Shemitah, America becomes the superpower it becomes. But then when you get to another one, 1973, you have the beginning of a fall of America. You have America legalizes abortion. The financial world collapses. We lose our first war, Vietnam, on the same day that we won World War II on the other Shemitah. And then when you get to you go in exactly 4 Shemitahs, you get to 2001, and when you get to September, that's the peak of the Shemitah. That last week, that's when 9/11 happens.
Right.
The word Shemitah means also collapse. And literally you have not only the collapse of the market, you have the collapse of towers, the symbol of American strength. The warning is, if America doesn't turn back to God, its blessings, which come from God, will be removed from the land.
And here we stand at 2014.
Yes.
How does the command apply today? Many people are looking at those dates that you've already outlined, but right now, where do we stand?
Well, Israel's the nation that was under the command, but then the Shemitah becomes a prophetic sign which can apply to anyone and anywhere. And the thing is that the Shemitah is beginning this month, very shortly. Now again, I'm not setting dates, even though in the book I give dates, but God doesn't have to do it according to our schedule. But I believe we need to be aware and we need to be prepared. Usually the pattern is this, that it happens at the end of the Shemitah year is when you have the climax. That's what last two is on the exact day. So that is September 2015.
Right.
Now the other thing is that I believe that regardless of when it happens, I believe a great shaking is coming to America. I believe it will affect the economy, it will affect the financial realm. I believe it will even be greater than those realms, just like 9/11 was. 9/11 actually caused that great collapse. So I believe we need to be ready. I believe a shaking is coming because without a shaking, America's not coming back to God. I believe this has to be. It doesn't have to happen this time, but I would be aware of it. That's one of the reasons why I normally don't give dates, but I did. But we need to be ready.
Wow. So looking towards 2015, what should we be doing to get ready?
I believe, and I'm not a financial analyst, but most important thing, people say, I want to be safe, I want safety. Well, the word in Hebrew for safety is Yeshua, and Yeshua is Jesus. The most important thing for safety is that you get your life right with God. Most important thing. In times of judgment, your life right. Anything's not in God, get it out. Anything that needs to be, get it in. Secondly, as far as financially, I would play it safe. I'm just talking personally. I would go for safety, with that. But most importantly is get things right with God, truly.
That's critical. Now, you also speak about something in your book called the month of Tishri. Am I correct in pronouncing that? What is it?
Tishri is here's the thing. Financial analysts have always been mystified that the stock market always seems to have these greatest crashes around October and September, October. If you're probably aware of it, they could never explain it. Well, the Bible explains it. In the Shemitah, the time of the year that manifests the crash of the Shemitah is Tishri. Tishri is September, October. And so if you look at the greatest percentage crashes in history, in American history, the majority of them all cluster around this little period of Tishri. I mean, amazing. All of them. I mean, and so Tishri is this thing. Now that's September, October. That's when the Shemitah begins and ends. So that is the key. And the other thing, if you look at the greatest point crashes in American history, the top 5 all cluster around Elul 29 that day given. So I mean, it's really how exact this is really mind-boggling. When this started coming, this begins in the Harbinger. I mean, because but most of what's here is all new because I didn't expect to write this, but it's so big that, and I was amazed that it has not been seen before, but it's there, and you'd expect it. I mean, God is in charge of everything, and the patterns that He gives are true even to this day, and they are affecting every one of our lives from the day we were born until now. And they will, I have no question, they will affect us in the times to come. I've had financial analysts who come and said, this is exactly what's there. And so we need to be ready. We need to be ready because everything that can be shaken will be shaken.
Indeed. Jonathan Cahn, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time.
My blessing.
Excellent insight.
My blessing, Ephraim.
God
Thank
bless
you.
you. Thank